Chihiro has just said goodbye to her friends and reluctantly moved to a new home with her parents. As they were about to arrive, the family got lost in the forest, but accidentally broke into an unknown town. Ignoring the strange atmosphere around them and Chihiro's persuasion, the parents sit down to eat and drink by themselves, indulging in delicious food and unable to extricate themselves. And Chihiro continued to move forward on her own. She meets a teenager in front of a tall building with "Oil House" written on the door. The boy was particularly surprised to see Chihiro. She was immediately warned that she must get out of here before dark. As he spoke, the whole town was quietly shrouded in night. The streets that had been empty were brightly lit up and became lively. Chihiro returns to where her parents are eating, only to find two cloaked pigs, still greedily gobbling up in a mess. Chihiro was shocked and ran all the way back to the steps. However, the grassland during the day has become a wide river at this time, and there is no way to go back. What's even more terrifying is that she found that her body has become a little transparent. The boy found her again and gave her food from this world so that she would not disappear. In order to prevent Chihiro from being in danger again, the boy takes her into the oil house. He tells Chihiro that his name is Hakuryu and that Granny Tang is the witch in charge of the place. She will turn people who don't have jobs into animals. Be sure to find Grandpa Boiler and try to get a job so you can stay here and rescue Chihiro's parents. Chihiro goes to Grandpa Boiler, but Grandpa Boiler says that he doesn't need manpower anymore. Maybe it's because Chihiro helped a small briquette, and Grandpa Boiler said that he moved Xiaoling, who was delivering food, and asked her to take Chihiro to find Granny Tang. Granny Tang was already well aware of the family's invasion, and refused to give her a job no matter how much Chihiro asked. At this time, due to the argument outside the house, a giant baby was woken up, and Granny Tang was coaxing softly while hurriedly parrying the crying of the huge baby. Chihiro saw the opportunity and begged loudly, "Please give me a job." At this time, Granny Tang couldn't help her, nodded reluctantly and agreed, and changed Chihiro's name to Xiao Qian. The next day, Bai Long led Xiao Qian to see her parents, who had become pigs, and return the greeting card that her friend gave Chihiro before coming here. Qian, who has forgotten his real name, then remembers that his original name is Chihiro. The white dragon told her that Granny Tang controlled others by depriving them of their names, like himself, and that he could no longer remember his real name. Once the name is taken away, there is no way home. It was raining heavily outside, and Chihiro was busy greeting guests and cleaning the bath. Granny Tang sensed that something bad was coming, and the stinking rotten god appeared to take a bath in the oil house, and everyone began to panic. Perhaps in order to trick her, Granny Yu gave Chihiro the job of entertaining the rotten gods. Just as Granny Yu was about to watch Chihiro's joke, Chihiro noticed a strange thorn on the guest's body. With the joint efforts of everyone, the thorn was pulled out. It turned out to be a bicycle with untold amounts of garbage. A pure rotten god appeared in its original form, and it turned out to be the famous owner of the river. After giving Chihiro a ball and leaving a ground full of gold dust, he turned into a dragon and disappeared into the sky. The next morning, Chihiro wakes up from a nightmare. I found that everyone else was gone. It turned out that last night, after the river god had left, a strange and generous guest appeared in the oil house, who took out a lot of gold like a trick, and everyone rushed up to entertain this distinguished guest. Xiao Ling, who lives with Chihiro, beckons her to go with her to grab the gold, and Chihiro, who has just dreamed that she has become a pig's parents, is not in that mood and returns to the room alone. A dragon chased by countless paper figures and covered in bruises broke into Chihiro's field of vision. Chihiro remembered the dragon she had seen on the bridge the other day, and couldn't help but realize that this dragon was Mr. Haku. She let the dragon into the house to hide, and the paper figures were kept out and gradually dispersed. Immediately afterward, the dragon rushed out and flew towards Granny Tang's room. In order to save the seriously injured Mr. Bai, Chihiro immediately rushed to Granny Yu's room. On the way, I met the generous guest, and it turned out to be the faceless man that Chihiro put in yesterday. The faceless man has always wanted to repay Chihiro for letting him in, first stealing a medicated bath brand for her, and now conjuring up a lot of gold to give Chihiro. Chihiro's mind was on Mr. Bai, who was seriously injured, and said that he didn't need it. Then continue to the top floor of the oil house, and the faceless man who was rejected is very frustrated. The gold was scattered all over the place, attracting everyone to rob it, and the steward said with a smile on his face that Chihiro was a newcomer who was ignorant. The faceless man swallowed him in one gulp without saying anything, and everyone dispersed in a hurry when they saw this. With the help of the little paper man, Chihiro finally arrives at Granny Yu's room. Overheard, it was learned that the faceless man had caused big trouble, and at the same time, Granny Tang was also preparing to dispose of the white dragon. She wanted to save the white dragon, but was stopped by Granny Tang's baby. After managing to break free, she finally arrives at Hakuryu's side, and Chihiro desperately tries to stop her mother-in-law's men from throwing Hakuryu into a deep pit. At this time, Granny Tang's twin sister, Granny Qian, appeared through the paper figure. She turns the baby who gets in the way into a mouse, leaving a fake baby, and tell Chihiro that the white dragon stole something important. Ask Chihiro to hand him over and say that the white dragon is no longer saved. At this time, Bai Long saw the opportunity and smashed the paper figure, and the phantom of Granny Qian slowly disappeared. Hakuryu fell into the pit with Chihiro, as well as the baby who turned into a mouse. The white dragon and the others flew away from the pit with all their might, and broke into Grandpa Boiler's room. Grandpa Boiler sees that something is in the white dragon's stomach that is absorbing his life, and Chihiro stuffs half of the river god's balls into the white dragon's mouth. Soon the white dragon spat out a cloud of swarthy things, which was Granny Qian's seal and a black worm. Chihiro hurriedly trampled the black bug to death, and the life-absorbing spell was lifted. But the white dragon is still unconscious, and in order to save the white dragon, Chihiro decides to return the seal to Granny Qian and apologize to her. Grandpa Boiler gave her a ticket and told him the location of Granny Qian's house. And at this time, Xiaoling came over to find Chihiro and told her that the faceless man had turned the world upside down, and said that Granny Tang wanted Chihiro to entertain the faceless man, and Chihiro came to the faceless. At this time, Faceless has been swallowed constantly, swelling like a hill, and it still wants Chihiro to accept his kindness, but Chihiro says that he only wants his parents. Seeing that she persuaded the faceless man not to move, she had to give the faceless man half of the river god pill that was originally left for her parents. The faceless man immediately vomited after eating, and angrily went after Chihiro. Chihiro ran all the way to the platform, and the faceless man who had vomited clean also chased him out and changed back to his original appearance. At this time, the train arrives at the station, and Chihiro asks the faceless man to get on the train with him, and it is the oil house that makes the faceless man like that. Chihiro thought it would be better for him to get out of there. In this way, Chihiro, Faceless, and the baby got on the train to the bottom of the swamp together. Soon after, Bai Long woke up and found Granny Tang and told her that the baby had been dropped. Has been taken to Granny Qian, and Bai Long said to Granny Tang that he can bring the baby back. But Granny Tang must let Chihiro and her parents return to the human world safely, and Chihiro and they come to Granny Qian's residence and return the seal. Granny Qian entertained Chihiro and them, and not long after, the recovered white dragon came to pick up Chihiro and them. Granny Qian forgives the white dragon who stole the seal, tells him to protect Chihiro well, and keeps Faceless by her side as a helper. The white dragon carried Chihiro and them, flew into the sky, and left Granny Qian's hut. On the back of the white dragon, because of an unusually familiar feeling, Chihiro finally remembered that she had seen the white dragon before. She told Bai Long that she accidentally fell into the river when she was a child. The name of the river is Amber River, and Hakuryu finally remembers that the girl he once saved was Chihiro. And Chihiro helps Hakuryu find his name by recalling this past incident and help the Amber Lord meet early. Chihiro returns to the oil house, and Granny Yu fulfills her promise, but there is one final test waiting for her. She had to find her parents among 12 pigs that looked similar. Chihiro thought about it for a moment and told Granny Yu that there were no parents in it. As soon as the words fell, the magic was lifted. Reluctantly, Granny Tang announces to Chihiro that she has won, and Hakuryu takes Chihiro's hand and leads her out of town. Her parents were already waiting for her in the distance. Before parting, Hakuryu tells Chihiro that he has retrieved his name, regained his freedom, and will return to the human world in the future. And they will definitely meet again. In the film, Chihiro goes from a timid, negative, and spoiled child by her parents. In the end, Chihiro is no longer the squeamish and spoiled girl she was at the beginning. Chihiro has grown into a sensible, independent, and courageous girl by this time. There are also many extremely ironic plots hidden in the film, and food alludes to greedy dreams in the animation, representing human desires. Chihiro's parents eat because they are exaggerated, and at the beginning of the animation, you can see Chihiro's father's eating appearance, which represents the exuberant greed of human beings. There is also a plot where Chihiro entertains the river god to take a bath, and it is not only the bicycle that is pulled out of the river god's body. There are also washing machines, buckets, and other garbage, which are thrown into the river by people, and this plot design is a very straightforward satire of human awareness of environmental protection.